I learned to live and help him grow stronger. I'm not looking for perfect words to start this story. I want to tell what was real, without gloss and without bragging. This is a story about how life reshaped us, how love teaches me to be brave, and how my partner and I learned to grow together. My name is Anna, and here is my story, how my life changed both of us for the better. Childhood wasn't dramatic, but it wasn't easy either. I grew up with small victories and big doubts, anxious mornings, thoughts about good and evil, words that stayed inside. At school, I often didn't feel I could be myself fully. I was afraid of mistakes, shy about my desires, trying to live up to others' expectations. But at some point I realized, if I don't start living by my own rules, I'll lose myself completely. I started keeping a diary, setting simple tasks, tell the truth, even when it's scary, and choose people who support me. Then he appeared, my boyfriend. We met at work, between two shifts. He seemed like a bright person, a smile that eases anxiety, a voice that knows how to listen. In the beginning, everything was warm and easy. But as our days drew closer, I noticed we were getting stuck in the small stuff. He blamed me for minor mistakes, and I kept silent because I was afraid of conflict. I thought, if I am sufficiently good, everything will fall into place by itself. We talked about many topics, but real understanding between us grew less. I learned to live with the anxiety about his mood, and he learned to live by rules that didn't match my boundaries. We went through a crisis. Petty quarrels turned into accumulated dissatisfaction. We stopped seeing the other as a person and saw only flaws. I began to see that my love was turning into a search for an ideal partner who could fix my fears and doubts. And at the same time, I began to understand that love isn't a binding mechanism, but mutual work on ourselves. I finally asked myself, why do I relate to life in a way that keeps risking my soul? I found the answer: I need honesty with myself and with him. And a slow reevaluation began. I found a psychological approach that helped me break free from the sense of duty to be perfect in others' eyes. I started working on boundaries, explaining what matters to me, and not slipping into passive agreement. I learned to speak in I feel, this matters to me, I feel uncomfortable when, instead of accusations and reproaches. We began regular conversations about how each of us sees the relationship, what we need, what our expectations are, and which boundaries are important to us. I became honest with myself, what I'm willing to give and what I'm not. And yes, changes didn't happen instantly. It took time, patience, and support from loved ones. Here came the main change, our second level of mutual support. When I started working on myself, he began to notice how my confidence affected us both. Not because I proved something to him, but because I stopped needing his approval. He saw how we could discuss hot topics calmly and without attacks, how we learned to solve everyday issues together, and how each of us treats the other's feelings with care. He started bringing fewer quarrels into the home and more attention to details, small joint plans, choosing weekend activities together, shared goals. Not because I changed him, but because we both changed, I became stronger and more honest in the relationship, and he saw that happiness is a choice we make every day together. Now we know love is a journey, not a destination. I didn't change him by force. We changed together because we began to tell the truth, build boundaries, and support each other. This is a story about growth, about how one woman learns to live by her own rules, and how her example helps her partner become who he wanted to be. Thank you for being here. If you're in a similar situation right now, remember, the first step is an honest conversation with yourself and with your partner. Love doesn't demand perfection. It requires honesty, respect, and a willingness to grow together.